obviously AI is on top of everybody's mind and working with that and trying to, which is before AI, I actually was working on a lot of automation for HR, particularly for onboarding and stuff. So it becomes like an automatic thing beyond just doing a checklist. So, there are certain stages where things automate. So incorporating AI into things, which also is great for what I'm doing, where, I'm building HR departments where they don't need an HR person or they can hire a junior person. So automating things.
Welcome to the Growth Experts podcast. I'm your host, Derek Collin, and today we have a very special guest. Her name is Irene. She is the CEO and founder of Rowiri, HR.com. Hey, Irene, how are you?
I'm well, and yourself?
I'm good. I can't complain. Thank you for joining us today on the podcast.
I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. So, can you tell us a little bit about your background and give us a little insight in regards to Rowiri.hr or RowiriHR.com?
So, gosh, I've had many careers in my life. I primarily started in marketing and sales. And then after like 10 years, I was recruited to be a recruiter at an agency and really found my reason for being, I guess you could say. And so throughout my career, I started off in agency recruitment, moved in internal in-house, as they say, with corporations, and eventually took over generalist work as well. Throughout that part of my career, I mostly was working for companies that are starting up, usually 50, around 50 to 80 people at the time. And I would build their HR departments, heavily recruit, and build this growth for organizations. And then I oversaw, with Kaspersky, I oversaw North and South America at first, and then South America, Turkey, and Africa. And I've actually been, from that time on, I've always been doing global HR, global recruiting, focusing mostly with technology industry, software tech, security. And I just got to a point in my life that I said, you know what, it's time for me to work on my own and start to do exactly what I did for small companies, but just go in and build and then move on to the next one, I guess you could say. So Rowiri is focused on building HR departments, helping a company grow with their teams, with their HR focus for startups that haven't quite yet had the true need for a full-time HR person. I come in and I take care of everything, put down the whole foundation and such. And then eventually what they could do is actually hire like a junior person instead that could maintain and implement. I'm also good with mentoring and such too, so I can always come back in to help mentor and grow, and that person can grow with the company because they have a strong foundation. And it's kind of important, I think, a lot of times with small companies, they put HR last, which I understand it's not like a big priority. But then when they're too big, it becomes this priority, and then you're basically trying to change tires on a race car as it's driving a race. And it's hard to maintain that growth and do the right things and put everything in place. And that's where things fall apart. So that's what Rowiri does.
Cool. So what does a typical day look like for you?
I have to balance out a lot of stuff there. As we were talking before, one of the biggest challenges for me, even though I have a marketing background, is just carving time out to market the company and keep promoting it, doing all the content, and with all of that. And then in addition to also doing the work for the companies. So, you have that half of my day goes into sales, and I try to put the sales and marketing aspect in the beginning because it's it's just something I kind of avoid sometimes. So I like to do my tendency to avoid, do it first, and then do the stuff that I love, which is working on projects for my clients and, balancing out the time based off of, the project plans for each client, um, working that out. So it could be anything from writing a handbook to implementing a culture, implementing structure for the culture to maintain culture while it's growing. Recruiting, I also do some recruiting as well. So it just all depends. So you have to, I time block everything.
That's good, time management.
Yeah, try.
Well, what major shifts are you currently seeing in the industry right now? Are you able to talk about that?
Yeah. Obviously AI is on top of everybody's mind and working with that and trying to, which is before AI, I actually was working on a lot of automation for HR, particularly for onboarding and stuff. So it becomes like an automatic thing beyond
Yeah.
just doing a checklist. So, there are certain stages where things automate. So incorporating AI into things, which also is great for what I'm doing, where, I'm building HR departments where they don't need an HR person or they can hire a junior person. So automating things makes it a lot easier. And then that junior person that eventually would come on, or even if it was me who's retained for a few years, you are allowed to, with AI, you're allowed to take care of all those operational tasks and then focus on like the deep thought, real project work. Um, It's interesting too is that where, at least for the organizations that I'm working with, a lot of their roles are still hard to find. So, everybody's saying, it's hard to find a job, but it's like there's like an old phrase in recruiting where they call it purple squirrel, which, yargahan, then, yeah,
I know the story out of Boom Score.
for people who don't know, purple squirrels are these like very unique roles that like there might be one or two people out there in the entire world that actually truly has those exact plug and play skill sets. And so, you look for those and build that up. So that recruiting can be a challenge as well as I think a lot of people, again, going back to, kind of bonding on our recruiting experiences. Um, I think this time, hiring managers are very, very, very cautious of hiring the wrong hire. What if this, what if that? It's, I was related to like people in relationships. They had one bad relationship. And so now they look at every little detail as like a possibility for a breakup. So, kind of balancing that out. Also, I think another challenge is showing the startups, the smaller companies, that where HR needs to be brought in, or it doesn't need to, but it's a good idea to bring it in now before it's too late, kind of scenario. Which it's dependent on the business model, where they're going, what stage of the life cycle they're on. Um, so those are some of the bigger challenges, I guess you could say.
Okay. So when you say bigger challenges, is it challenging for you and your organization, or is this what you're seeing in the industry?
For, I think, consulting, well, I mean, the final one is a challenge for me for sure. For, incorporating AI and incorporating, managing the recruitment and getting a hiring manager to accept somebody that isn't truly perfect and realize that training and development is going to help them, I think is a general HR issue. I also think in HR, a big topic in HR is, which is sad, it's still the cross that we bear, is trying to get the seat at the table, so to speak, where they still don't think that HR really has anything to do with the business. And, there's still this mindset that we're still personnel that just, shuffles paperwork and find me as somebody, and that's it. Um, they in demonstrating that is like the common discussion of like, we are strategists and we a good I mean, and then again, it's also like the industry itself too. You have a lot of people in our industry that are not that good.
Yeah.
And but those that are good, really dive into the industry, understand what's going on, understand your competitors, everything like that. So it's beyond HR, but looking at how hiring the right people or developing people so that they grow with the company because of this is where the industry is going is very important. Looking at how your EBITDA and understanding what an EBITDA is for most HR people, and understanding how the headcount and different things that HR can do can help adjust that EBITDA, and it's also interesting too because when it comes down to like a merger and acquisition, which I've been in a couple of them,
Oh,
um, all of a sudden they realize, oh my God, HR, you need HR. What's going on with HR? What are you doing? I was like, got it. Yeah. I've already been planning this, but in the background. So, you have it all lined up and, so that when companies do due diligence,
do the diligence.
s- they, HR is a big component of that. And a lot of people don't think about that either, too. So,
No, it is. It is, especially like with private equity firms buying out other companies, mergers, acquisitions. Definitely gonna need some HR involved, especially if you're cutting people.
and also that culture blend when they're merging and making sure the culture's connected, systems are connected, like the different systems, benefits. There's like a whole laundry list of stuff, as well as, I mean, they even look at like how many, potential lawsuits based off of employment issues. It's like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
We could spend hours talking about all the different things. Yeah.
So what's working well for you right now, and what's been frustrating? Candidates, clients,
I think the
caseload, workload.
is fortunately I've been pretty good with balancing out workload. And I think, obviously there are times where, especially when you're starting out, you don't want to say no to anybody. So, it turns into, okay, well, which is, any small business that's starting out, you work a lot of long hours, but that's fine. I mean, when you're doing something you enjoy, you're passionate about it, it's not too much of a bother. I think again, I keep falling back on, it's the sales part and the marketing. And like, I feel like the only platform right now is LinkedIn. I mean, you know, sending out emails sometimes works, sometimes it doesn't. You know, building your referral is good. It's a good way to start, but I think I also have that feel like, I don't know. I have to my frustration is getting past my own issues of asking people for referrals, pushing it harder, that kind of thing. It, which is probably why I got out of sales in the first place because I got it.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely sales involved with pretty much everything in life, right?
Yeah.
You could say I went to this new ice cream shop down the street and it was phenomenal. Just you mentioning that's a sale, and someone like, oh, I want to go check it out.
Mhm.
So the simplicity of sales is pretty much involved and embedded to terms of everyday life. But yeah, I hear where you're coming from in terms of business development, getting more referrals, pushing that line just a little bit further, to get that extra result. And then you mentioned EBITDA, kind of reminds me of people that want to know these things for exit strategies, right? Because a lot of firms, executive search, that want an exit strategy. So in some cases, not everybody does. Where do you guys see your company growing? Or where do you see your company going within the next 6 to 12 months from now?
6 to 12 months from now, in the next 6 months, I see us being very steady with work, um, building a strong network. I'd like to see maybe 3 clients on retainer and, a couple of big project clients. In 12 months, I can see us, having a very solid, strong business that which we in the next 12 months that would be like we just had our first year anniversary. So, there'd be our year 2 being nice and successful and having steady work, maybe taking on some people to help us with the work. I eventually, I keep going back and forth and like just see what the market takes because I like to have when it comes to business and stuff in my career as well as I like to have like a framework, but it's flexible. So I can see myself having teams of, our partner teams and such of like, a strong CFOs and CEOs and CMOs and such that are all executive level people who are doing the same work so that we can actually just go in, help out a startup, get them all into place and have everything, working for them. And all they have to do is this, like our tagline says, focus on the product and we'll take care of the rest. So they focus on their product development and what they're doing there. And then my team comes in and takes care of it all. And then, however they want to use us in that respect, which I still have. I mean, right now I have that ability with a lot of throughout my network. I have people who are in similar, like, I guess you can call it fractional work, where, executive level fractional work already, but to actually have it under one group would be really cool. So that would be a nice direction. So
Yeah. Yeah. You said CFO, I believe, and,
mhm.
building out a solid team, business development, utilizing that team to expand and grow. And then you also mentioned your goal for the business to reach, 3 more potential clients within that 6 to 12-month period. Is that correct?
Yeah, 3 retained. Because right now I'm doing a lot of project work, but doing retained thing where, I'm their part-time HR person. Would be good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you had a magic wand and you could fix, just one thing in your business right now, what's something holding you back, slowing you down, what would that thing be?
I would love to be able to hire somebody who can do the content and sales. To- Sales, particularly sales. If I could have somebody to do sales, I'd be like set. So
Yeah. Well, what's frustrating about that? Can you expand a little bit? Like, is it taking up too much of your time? You're just looking to outsource to free up more time and focus on something more specific that matters for your organization? I'm sure the audience wants to know.
yeah, so I definitely obviously it does take a lot of time. Um, which I mean I'm pretty good at time management, but still it would be better to do other things. And a lot of times I push it off. Like I try to do it at the beginning of the day so I get it out of the way. But it's I mean, again, like what we were talking just a few minutes ago, that frustration is the frustration of me not having that sales mentality that I need to just keep pushing, 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 you know?
Awesome. But it seems like you're doing well, Irene. I mean, your company is still growing. You're making good money. You got good revenue coming in and growth, and you're looking to expand 3 more retained clients.
Mm.
Uh, well, do you have anything you wanted to share with the audience? If someone was to reach out to you and hire you, what would you want them to know?
One thing that I pride myself in is that I'm not this HR person who's gonna bog you down with rules and regulations and hold you back from creativity and innovation. I've been very focused in with startups who, HR is the antichrist most of the time. I will incorporate some. I will. I'm not going to say I don't do any of it, but you do need first, your audits and such, your basic framework of those rules and regulations that is required for SOC2 and things like that. So that's taken care of. But what I really look at is understanding your culture, maintaining your culture throughout the growth, maintaining that engagement and not throwing fun little, engagement parties and stuff, but actual real engagement where, you're helping people learn and develop and connect with the company, which is engagement and culture kind of go hand in hand. I also find really good people who make sense with the company, not just like this is the perfect star. I look at the person all overall so that you get some really good employees that will grow with you. So I'm the one-stop shop. And in addition to that, my partner is an employment lawyer. So we have that other factor that comes in too.
Oh,
Um,
that's cool.
so yeah, so it's a nice thing. We help with expansions. It's hard to narrow us down and such as well because we can do everything. We open up offices in international locations outside of the US and Canada. We can do Canada. I do it all. So again, it just boils down to the fact that you get to focus on your product and I will take care of everything else. And if you need a sales team, if you need this, you need that, I can get you it all. I'm your partner beyond just like a consultant that comes in and out. I'm a partner that actually does the work. So
Yeah, you deliver, and it's not just a service.
that's
It's not all about transactional. You build that
exactly.
relationship.
Exactly. I give you the strategy, I implement, and I can also, I'm pretty business savvy. So I
Yeah. Awesome, Irene. Well, thank you so much for joining the Growth Experts podcast. That's going to be it for today, folks. If you guys want to check out Irene's website, it's located right down there below in the banner. It's rowiryhr.com. That's rowiryhr.com. Thank you, Irene, for joining us.
thank you and have a great holiday.
Yeah, happy holidays to you. Happy New Year. Peace.